You spot a hound over the avenue. You haven't met this pup. You have never greeted this hound. You hold no past connection with this canine. Zero shared memories. Zero mutual pals. Yet somehow, down within your core, one primal urge suddenly ignites. Your arm lifts, your fingers bend. Your mind issues one solitary directive: stroke the hound. And before you've fully grasped what's occurring, you're kneeling on the sidewalk, emitting a noise you would never emit in a corporate environment, murmuring, "Hey, sweetie," to a stranger's happy retriever, like it's the most normal act in the universe. Crazy part, it is. Because this isn't solely you. This isn't simply a pup lover trait, or a feline lover trait, or an I grew up on a ranch trait. This is a cross-border, highly neurological, almost awkwardly universal human reaction. We stroke dogs. We stroke cats. We stroke rabbits, ponies, capybaras, the occasional very puzzled reptile. We stretch out to feel fuzzy coats, silky ears, heated fur. We spot a tiny critter, and our palms just move. Nobody tells them to. They merely move. Yet nobody has ever truly sat down and adequately explained why. Until today. Let's begin with the glaring question. Is it simply that critters are adorable? Since that seems like the easiest answer, correct? You spot something sweet, you wish to stroke it. Case shut, everyone head home. Yet here's where things become fascinating. The sweet reflex is vastly more complex than it appears on the exterior. When you spot a being with huge circular eyes, a tiny snout, plump cheeks, and a massive forehead compared to the rest of its visage, your mind doesn't merely create a faint positive sensation. Your mind enters a highly particular neurological condition that scientists have been investigating intently for decades. The initial concept arose from an Austrian ethologist called Konrad Lorenz back in 1943. He dubbed it Kinderschema, which translates German into infant schema. His premise was that specific bodily traits activate caregiving impulses in grown humans. Circular face, large eyes, tiny chin, gentle features, shaky, clumsy motions. Each of these traits developed in human babies expressly to captivate grown minds and force those grown-ups want to shield and nurse the child. Biology is not discrete. It essentially programmed a visual loophole straight into your neurological operating framework and dubbed it an infant. And Lorenz's discovery, which was truly ahead of its era, showed that those exact traits, when seen in different animals, provoke the very identical reaction. Your mind does not mind that the creature in front of you is not your child. It does not execute an animal check. It views huge circular eyes, plus a tiny face, and it sparks the nurturing pathways. And abruptly you are feeling a defensive, motherly, or fatherly urge toward a creature you found 11 seconds prior in a parking garage. What's incredible is that Lorenz suggested all of this during the 1940s, using essentially zero neural scanning equipment. He was merely observing folks respond to stimuli while taking records. And then years later, when we finally placed subjects inside fMRI scanners and displayed them images of sweet infant beasts, he turned out to remain fundamentally right. The mind flares up within distinct, recognizable zones. The orbitofrontal cortex, zones tied to dopamine processing, tissues connected with affective prominence plus drive. Staring at an adorable beast is not some passive event. It is an active process. Your mind is busily, quantifiably accomplishing something. It is reacting to whatever it views the way it reacts to items that truly matter, items that feel emotionally important, items worth giving focus to, items worth worrying about. And importantly, all of that is occurring before you've ever contacted anything, since touching represents a completely separate level on top of all of that. Now, this is when things become truly great. Here's something that rarely gets spoken regarding enough. Our human sense of feeling is ridiculously advanced. We usually like to view touching as one sense, yet it's really a combination of multiple sensory networks operating concurrently. Our flesh is coated in several distinct sorts of mechanoreceptors, dedicated feeling cells which react to varied forms of tactile contact. Some react to weight, some to shaking, some to surface changes, others to thermal shifts. Furthermore, there is one special class identified and examined in greater detail fairly lately within the realm of affective and social contact, named C-tactile afferents. Those represent nerve threads which sit exceptionally almost flawlessly calibrated toward a specific type of tender brushing contact. Not heavy pressure, not acute pain, not swift movement. Slow, tender, mild rubbing at a velocity of roughly 1 to 10 centimeters per second. Plus, when such threads get triggered, they transmit impulses not merely toward the somatosensory cortex, the section of the mind which handles where plus how you're getting rubbed, but toward zones connected with feelings, communal bonding, plus pleasure. Such fibers basically function for the goal of ensuring tender contact feels effectively profound, not solely physically noticed, but significant. Now here's the piece which bridges everything. Gliding your palm gently across silky fur triggers C-tactile afferents nearly flawlessly. The feeling, the heat, the mild pushback, the steady pressure. It feels as though coats were built to connect alongside this exact sensory network. Stroke a pup, and you stand actually igniting a neurological circuit, which developed for communal bonding, yet stands now activating because of a Labrador. This is no mere metaphor. This means chemistry, namely oxytocin. Oxytocin, occasionally dubbed the love chemical, although neurologists grow honestly a bit exhausted by this simplistic tag, since it performs significantly more tasks than that. Oxytocin gets discharged during joyful bodily contact. It's secreted whenever you embrace somebody you worry over, whenever you carry an infant, whenever you partake within bodily warmth of virtually any sort. Plus, numerous well-crafted experiments have proven that merely a couple minutes of engaging alongside a pup, stroking him, maintaining visual connection, merely staying physically nearby, dramatically boosts oxytocin amounts within people. We're discussing quantifiable surges within blood saturation regarding a bonding chemical after a few moments of canine proximity. Now here's that piece which seems basically unjust, given how pure it remains. The oxytocin surges inside the mutt, also, concurrently. You stand linking gazes alongside a hound, stroking him. While you stand together, you plus the hound, undergoing the identical neurochemical reaction which ties mothers toward kids, which ties spouses toward one another, which anchors several of the strongest interpersonal links mortal beings build. You strolled over toward a stranger's pup upon the avenue, plus you inadvertently fell a tiny amount in love alongside him. And so did the pup. Yet that means zero sentimentality. This signifies biology functioning precisely like it's meant to. However, let's pull one pace backward, since there's another perspective here which many folks rarely ponder. Why fluffy objects exactly? Why does fuzz stay the material which causes this for us, yet not, say, pebbles? Why do we never sense an overpowering drive to rub a stone barrier? Why does surface matter so deeply? Some of this explanation rests within touch recall plus infant linkage. People as babies expend a massive fraction regarding their initial lifespan within intimate proximity, alongside heated, plush items. Flesh, clothing, quilts, other forms. This connection linking plushness alongside security gets formed incredibly soon during maturation, pre-speech, prior waking recall. It becomes wired inside your neural network like a foundation. Plush items signify security. Plush items signify intimacy. Plush items signify relief. Plus, that linkage endures across your whole lifetime via manners which your waking brain seldom detects. There's furthermore this thermal factor, which remains undervalued. Fuzz feels hot, plus hot objects signal on a truly profound neural tier that something stays living. Whenever you lay your palm upon anything heated plus faintly flexible, there occurs an almost instant drop regarding quantifiable biological tension indicators. Pulse rhythm drops marginally. Dermal conductivity falls. Adrenaline amounts start to plummet. Our involuntary neural framework stands identifying this heat as the existence regarding another breathing form, plus it sits reacting through suppressing your danger reflex. You stand biologically unwinding. Not since you chose to chill, since your flesh detected heat plus thought. All right, something living exists nearby. We're secure. Plus next, plus this part remains crucial. There's the audio. Since it stays not merely regarding feeling, there's whatever you catch whilst you're performing it. Feline humming has gotten analyzed thoroughly within science, plus frequently during healing settings. Mainly since the deeper you peer into it, the weirder plus more fascinating it becomes. This noise gets generated via the swift twitching regarding the throat tissues. This feline's voice box shakes scores of moments per second, while the pet exhales air out plus in, generating this non-stop vibrating tone. The pitch regarding a standard house feline hum drops betwixt 25 plus 150 Hz, while the most normal spectrum rests betwixt 25 plus 50 Hz. Now here's when things become authentically bizarre. Pitches within this precise band possess been recorded during medical situations to encourage mending inside skeletal fibers, to lower swelling, plus to hasten recuperation across muscle fiber traumas. There exist bodily rehabilitation routines getting crafted which deploy artificial shaking upon those precise pitches to assist sufferers mend quicker following breaks plus tendon harm. Thus, whenever a feline sits humming atop your torso, you stand not merely perceiving a noise, you stand getting softly rattled upon a pitch which could directly foster organic mending throughout your form. Felines stroll about acting inadvertently medicinal. They sit resting atop your computer, while disregarding you, while critiquing the architectural stability regarding your bookcases, whilst their frame stays silently broadcasting pitches which could prove beneficial toward your skeleton. They stay performing absolutely zero towards their personal motives while unintentionally supplying medicinal care. Yet we forever consider them captivating. We must. They remain extraordinary. Next, let's discuss the obsessive element regarding all that, since I believe that stays truly the highly fascinating trait. It's not merely that stroking beasts feels wonderful. Plenty of actions feel wonderful, yet we succeed to control ourselves near them within society. The bizarre detail regarding creatures remains that the drive seems basically unstoppable to suppress. You realize logically that you must inquire prior stroking the pup. You grasp the feline inside your buddy's flat has issued you two quite vivid threats beforehand. You try it regardless. What precisely sits occurring there? Some of this implies approach drive. Whenever your mind recognizes anything like highly beneficial plus adorable, plush, heated creatures stand sparking basically every dopamine flare your mind stays built to produce, it builds a compelling drag towards that target which predates waking choice-making. You're not pondering, I desire to stroke that hound. The compelling network has beforehand shifted your palm. The waking choice-forming level stays catching up towards whatever your form previously began performing. That identical core dopamine-seeking pathway, which drives you towards meals whenever you're starving, or towards somebody you deem alluring, sits creating this urge to shrink the gap plus spark touching alongside the beast. You remain, inside the highly exact meaning, pulled toward him. Next there's whatever scientists have begun dubbing sweet hostility, which feels concerning, yet remains genuinely captivating. It's this sensation regarding viewing anything so powerfully, practically illogically adorable, that you sense a weird, fierce, practically hostile drive as feedback, desiring to crush it, uttering phrases like, I might devour you whole, doing tiny fake menacing motions towards precious objects. You clearly harbor zero goal regarding truly hurting. Whenever you've simply stared upon a pup, plus sensed an unexplainable drive to forcefully smush his snout, that shows you undergoing sweet hostility. Scientists around Yale examined this occurrence deeply, plus discovered that it sits not arbitrary. It seems to represent a balancing reflex produced via the mind. Whenever anything creates an overpowering wave regarding joyful feeling, beyond whatever the network is smoothly managing, the mind builds an opposing dark urge, acting like homeostatic machinery, a method for evening things. This abrupt, I desire to mash that beast towards some realm reflex, remains your neural network truly attempting to manage alongside the amount regarding joyful feedback it's absorbing. Your mind stays flooded regarding how adorable anything looks, plus it stands not managing this smoothly, which implies these faintly crazy actions you desire to perform toward felines remain a signal showing your mind stays operating properly. You're welcomed. Next, below sits an inquiry, which stays worth resting upon. Is all of this exclusive towards mankind? Do we represent soul creatures which undergo this drag towards outside creatures? This reply, fascinatingly, remains sort of nay. There exist recorded sightings regarding apes inside feral habitats nearing beasts from varied groups, plus engaging alongside them through manners which serve zero apparent survival purpose. Gently touching tiny beasts, partaking within whatever seems to represent fun, showing whatever scholars label through fitting academic care, like visible inquisitiveness plus tenderness. Capuchin primates possess gotten recorded performing this. Bonobos possess gotten watched within scenarios which appear incredibly like inter-animal mingling. Large apes inside enclosures often build touching fond bonds alongside varied beasts they reside quite near. Not solely varied apes, rather hounds, felines, fowl, bunnies. Coco, that ape which got instructed American Sign Language throughout decades regarding study, kept several companion felines throughout the span regarding her lifetime. She asked them via signs. She dubbed them independently. She held them via constant tenderness. Whenever one regarding her felines passed, she made gestures which those scientists viewed like displays regarding mourning plus sorrow. An ape mourning over a tiny house feline since she had connected alongside him, since stroking him plus staying beside him had signified everything toward her, since this bond linking some giant ape plus some petite, heated plush beast stayed genuine plus it counted. Contact remains no mere mortal creation. This urge toward it stays primitive, plus it flows across much regarding the creature realm than folks usually admit. Plus, whenever you desire to grasp exactly how old this truly stands, you need to glance toward coevolution, since this bond linking people plus hounds notably remains no random fluke. It means not merely that pups chanced to stay nearby plus mankind grew accustomed towards them. It marks the outcome regarding some guessed 15,000 till 40,000 years, relying upon whatever data you're reviewing regarding authentic shared evolution. People plus pups possess kept dwelling alongside, laboring alongside, slumbering beside one another, plus stroking one another for so long that we possess quantifiably, organically altered each other. Hounds remain distinctively attuned toward mortal social signals via manners which their nearest feral cousins, wolves, purely stand lacking, including wolves, which got reared via people since birth. Pups track mortal directing motions instinctively. Pups follow mortal visual focus. Hounds build visual links alongside people through a manner which stays practically plus neurologically separate from whenever wolves form visual links. Plus, such visual linking sparks that identical oxytocin cycle mankind discussed just prior. Yet here's this fact which I consider practically too perfect to seem real. Hounds possess evolved a facial tissue, a precise tissue dubbed the levator anguli oculi medialis, which sits either completely missing or severely stunted among wolves. Such tissue stays accountable regarding this inward brow lift, this sad gaze look, that stare some pup shoots you whenever his eyebrows plus his pupils turn massive, while anything inside your heart utterly melts. Canines developed an anatomical feature expressly towards generating this look. This remains zero accident. This marks the product regarding thousands of years, regarding selection strain preferring pups, which proved superior, regarding sparking joyful effective reactions among mankind. Canines which stood superior, regarding coaxing people towards stroking them, feeding them, holding them near. Those sad glances remain not adorable through chance. They mark the outcome regarding some astoundingly lengthy cycle regarding deducing out precisely whatever forces mankind stretch forth their palms. Hounds did not become tamed idly. They engaged. They co-wrote this bond. Plus, each moment you stretch forth to stroke one, you stand reacting toward tens of thousands of years regarding highly intentional communal manipulation from the opposing faction. Mankind did not tame hounds. Mankind tamed one another. Whatever merits reflecting upon, plus I believe this stands truly the highly vital aspect regarding this entire topic, remains whatever occurs toward humanity, whenever we're refused contact. Not merely mortal contact, any contact. Since tactile starvation remains an actual, quantifiable, biological burden. Across phases involving mandatory communal seclusion, individuals that keep companions routinely display superior psychological wellness results. Reduced resting adrenaline amounts, reduced frequencies regarding melancholy plus dread contrasted against folks that lack animal companions. Plus, scholars possess stayed cautious regarding examining upon if this remains merely regarding fellowship within an absolute, keeping anything extra inside your room, or if this bodily touching alone counts. This proof frequently gestures toward this bodily touching representing some significant plus exact factor, Your palm upon fuzz, this creature resting upon your thighs, this heated mass regarding some form leaning your shin. This genuine sensory encounter regarding feeling anything breathing. Inside clinic settings, creature-guided healing routinely lessens felt agony, decreases panic prior surgical tasks, plus boosts effective happiness amidst recuperation via quantifiable methods. Healing hounds inside classrooms decrease tension reactions among kids amidst intense stress events, plus this schedule regarding each of that stays swift. 10 till 15 moments regarding mingling alongside some beast, genuinely stroking him, creates mathematically profound shifts inside adrenaline plus oxytocin amounts. Our neural network remains not sluggish regarding this. It grasps whatever it requires, plus it reacts swiftly whenever it acquires it. Mankind needs this deeper than mankind feigns. Plus, perhaps that's the true shift regarding whatever we've discussed throughout today. Folks treat this drive to stroke beasts like it's some silly trait, an adorable mortal defect, the action which forces you to arrive 10 moments delayed toward events since you got distracted via a pup upon the pavement. Yet whatever it's truly gesturing toward remains something far ancient, plus far highly profound. Contact remains how beasts broadcast security toward one another. It stays one, regarding the main pathways through which mankind balances one another's neural networks. It stands how folks convey lacking speech phrases like, "I spot you." "I'm present." "You're not solo." Everything stays fine. Throughout the huge bulk regarding mortal past, folks existed inside endless intimate bodily nearness, alongside beasts, laboring beasts, beasts folks bred, beasts which slumbered beside us, toward heat plus safety plus fellowship. This bodily plus mental division betwixt mankind plus creatures which folks currently deem standard stays incredibly modern across developmental metrics, practically astronomically modern, plus our minds, our neural networks, our dopamine pathways, zero regarding it has caught up. All regarding it stays continually anticipating to rest beside heated, plush, breathing entities upon a frequent schedule. You stood, never planning to skip stroking that hound. This lone mystery remained forever just how many ticks it needed.